So the look for creature of the wind, we're making the hair very, very straight. Then we have a technique, you cross the hair from one side to another side, back to front to create bangs. So it's like cutting hair without cutting hair.
What Shane and Chris and I were talking about was a Godzilla movie. It's like this idea of monstrous beauty was sort of what we talked about. The eye makeup itself is actually a lipstick that we're using, and we're leaving it sort of deliberately a little smudged and transparent. It just creates this very strong, I think very powerful woman.
This season was really about, we really wanted to pare down the narrative aspect of the collection, and we were really kind of, what we keep saying is this idea of monstrous innocence. So it was about taking sort of like kind of perceived notions of femininity and sweetness and sort of exaggerating them to this, to a harder, almost protected and kind of overgrown sort of way. A lot of that was through investigating 50s and 60s couture.
Ultimately, it was much more of a technical investigation. Whenever we could get our hands on these kind of old garments, we were investigating the construction and doing a lot of research about the materials that are used on the inside of garments, or that used to be used on the inside of garments. So it was just about thinking about new ways to kind of apply that, to kind of refer to that history a little bit, but to bring it into something still very modern.
Really interesting quirkiness of like putting things together in different ways, and they're obsessed about fabrics, and they have a lot of thoughts in their head that they draw from, so it's a very unique individual sort of thing. They're not really looking at anything else, any other collections or trends or what sells and what doesn't sell. Of course they take that into consideration.
I thought the show was fabulous, perfect. They just look young and light. They're just cheerful and wearable, and I just thought it was a great show.
Last season with Swarovski, it was a much more, we were using much smaller stones, and it was much more about this kind of like delicacy. And this time we wanted to think about it a little more structurally. So we used bigger stones, we used it in a more geometric way, and like a physically kind of heavier way too.
I loved the sparkle, I loved the shapes. There was that big full-length green dress that I thought was so amazing. And they're so talented technically, and they have such a sort of eccentric take on everything that it's always fun to see what they do.
I think it's really limiting to think about like the specific kind of girl that that should be wearing the clothes. I mean, I think it's much more about being able to take something like out of the collection, be able to kind of put it into your own kind of story.
We like that it can mean so many things to so many different people, and there's something speaks to different people at these different stages of their life.